name's Hannah Colburn. I'm 20 years old. I was born and bred in a village from Colburn. I live with my parents and also I have one sister as well. Me and my sister obviously went both to the same school. We went to Westfield Primary School and Estebsar High School in Colburn. The schools were never religious schools. However, they did take us to church on Christmas and they did take us to church on Easter as well. Growing up with school was quite difficult for me. My sister was always the popular one at school. She always was surrounded by lots of people and lots of friends, but with me, I was completely the opposite and I was very, very shy and very withdrawn, and as a result later on from my school life I actually got bullied. It started in primary school but got worse in high school. When I left school I went straight into work. I worked in a nursery, so I do childcare as my job, and going into work was actually worse than going into school. From quite a small family, my parents and also my parents' family as well from both sides are Christians. When I left school I had no school friends because of being bullied, and then being at work because of being bullied I had no friends. So I had nobody to fall back on, nobody at all, and being that young as well, I didn't want to open up to my parents, I didn't want to tell my parents. 6 months down the line I kind of got to a point when I thought, you know, I don't want to be here anymore, there's absolutely no point me being here anymore. But then I just woke up one morning and I thought, well, if I can't actually do it, if I can't actually commit suicide, then I might as well just get on with my life and try and get, you know, through it as best as I can. So that's when I took the decision to, right, get myself back out there, go and find a job, go and find something to do. But even if it was voluntary work, it was just something to do, something to get me away from everybody. I couldn't find a job, so I actually ended up being a volunteer at Birmingham Children's Hospital. Through working there, I actually had to look after a family who, at the time, I didn't know their cultural background, I didn't know that their religion was Islam, I didn't know that they were Muslims. I didn't want to ask, but also because of the confidentiality policy. Through looking after this family, I then found that out and I started to, you know, really get quite close to them. Through obviously staying in touch with this family and through being a bit more curious, I suppose is the right way to put it, and through pushing myself to ask questions, I very, very slowly started to find out, you know, why they did things and about Islam and about Muslims, and I think they certainly helped me a lot as well, because although I was only there to take care of the family, it was having that ability to think, right, I can get up in the morning, I've got somewhere to go, I've got somebody to see. Because when you go through bullying, when you go through suicide, you don't want to leave the house, you don't want to see anybody, and it's a real effort just to even step out your front door and think, okay, let's just pop to the shops and buy something. That in itself is incredibly hard. So having someone to go and see, having someone to look after, took me away from thinking about myself all the time. It took me away from my problems and I was focusing on somebody else for a change, and that, I think that definitely, you know, was a massive, massive help for me. Through Muharram in 2010, I actually watched Muharram through some friends that I know, and they used to play the Nohas quite a lot in the house on Muharram. You know, it's a different language to me, it was just kind of like in one out the other, it never really meant anything to me. But I remember one day coming back from work and they'd got it on, and I walked in and I was like, what's this? What? I actually asked them to translate the whole Noha for me, which they did, and then I started questioning, well, what does that mean, what does that mean? And after they translated it and asked all my questions, I listened to it again, and I had such a strong connection, because I was like, I actually know what it's saying. I didn't, but I actually felt like it was in English. It actually felt to me like, yeah, I know what it's saying, and I got that connection quite quickly. From that then, I really did, I started, my beliefs started, my faith started to get a lot stronger, and I actually, that same year, I actually tried to do Ramadan as well. And on the Eid of that Ramadan, my friend, my work colleague said to me, do you want to come and read Eid prayers, Eid Namaz? And I was like, what's that? So I put my scarf on, she took me across to the mosque, she read the prayers, the evening namaz prayers, and I followed her. And when we finished the prayers, she said to me, just sit here for a couple of minutes and just say whatever's in your heart. Don't say it out loud, just say whatever's in your heart, whatever is going around in your head, just, you know, just sit here for a couple of minutes and say it. And I actually remember, the only thing I remember from that day, I don't remember what I asked for or what I said, I just remember crying. But it was a cry of relief, it was a cry of happiness, it was not a cry of sadness. And I just thought, that was then when I realised that I was where I needed to be. That me crying was, I found myself. One night after work, she actually took me to her Islamic teacher, and at first I didn't know why we were going, because I had mentioned to her before, yeah, I wanted to pursue this, but I didn't realise that you had to read a shahada. I didn't realise that you had to read anything. I just thought, I can become Muslim because I want to. But she just explained to the teacher that she's done Ramadan, she's done Muharram, she's done Eid, and she's really, really interested. And the teacher was like, she needs to take a shahada, she needs to take it now, she needs to take it tonight. And I was like, okay, but what if? I then started to question, I suppose in fear, okay, if I take my shahada, I become Muslim, but then how am I going to tell my parents? How's my life going to be different? Have I got to give up alcohol? Have I got to wear a scarf? I've got to do... And she said, stop saying what if. Just read your shahada and you will know your path. You will not have a struggle. You will not fear anything. You will be fine because God will be with you. So I took my shahada on October the 5th, 2011. So it's just been 6 months now. When I pray, it does really, really helps me. And I know that, you know, Allah's hearing my prayers, and I know my prayers are being answered. It's an inner feeling, that connection. You can definitely feel it when you pray. It's a sense of warmness, I suppose. A sense of, you know somebody's with you. You know that whatever you pray for is being heard and it is going to be answered, inshallah. And it's just such like a happy feeling when I pray. It settles me. It gives me that inner peace.